So, if I understand it correctly, it's around, if you're doing Naam Simran, do you have to have all the other parts of the jigsaw puzzle in order for it to work? Or can you just pick and choose certain bits, and does it work with all of those? The important thing to remember is these things aren't inhibitors. Yeah? These things complement your Simran. Now, one thing is true. If you do all those things, you keep your kesh and you got your panch kakar and you have your amrit and all these kind of things, all of those things without Simran are meaningless. That's a guarantee. All those things without meditation, that's a guarantee. Barney says time and time again, why are you going to these places? Why do you have these religious robes? Why do you look, jio male baro nirmal? Why do you look pure on the outside but inside you're not? So, external, let's call them artifacts or whatever it is, will become ritual if there is no internal to back it up. Now, that's not to say that internally you can do all those things, and do you need those external things? That's what your question is. Can you just sit and do Simran and do all those things? The truth of the matter is, Simran alone is enough. Simran alone is enough. But then the question comes, well, why would you go and cut your hair if you're connecting? There's one reason and one reason alone to cut your hair. Because you want to look after your body. You want to look after your body because you want to present it in a nice way to the world. You want to present it in a nice way because ultimately you like the compliments that will come back from that. And all of that points to one thing: I still exist, I'm still important. That is the absolute opposite of Simran. Simran is to say, I'm not important, I am nothing, everything is you, everything is Waheguru. So if you're doing Simran, but you're doing things that are contradictory to that, then one way or the other you're fooling yourself. Either the Simran is not having the impact because you're doing it just to tell yourself I'm doing Simran, or you're having really great Simran, but there's a part of you that's still holding on to your physical identity. We're holding on to our body. We identify with our body. Mehega, I'm important. So part of the kesh is to say, let whatever Waheguru wants to do with you, let it happen. Yeah? Now, tying your dadi and all these kind of things, all of these things are irrelevant because the mindset that goes behind it is what's more important. You can have a Gursikh who has his dadi tied, doesn't make a difference. What makes him a Gursikh isn't the length of his dadi or whether it's tied or not. That's not what makes him a Gursikh. The only thing that makes you a Gursikh is your mind facing your everyday needs, or is your mind facing the Guru? Is your awareness on Guru, is your awareness on everyday life and Maya? So, if I'm meditating and my dadi is tied because it's practical, like some people will work in a factory or in a food factory, you have to put a hairnet. You have to be practical. Sikhi is not about being impractical. Yeah? And if somebody says, oh well, you got your dadi tied so you can't be a Gursikh, well, tell them to read Gurbani. Yeah? You're not going to get direct one-to-one answers. The Guru is not going to say, you're allowed to open your dadi, you're allowed to keep your dadi closed, all that kind of stuff. Guru is not prescriptive like that. Yeah? And one of the things we try to do with Sikh Dharam is we try and make it a very, like a checkbox. Yeah, checkbox. Yeah? I've done all of these things, I'm not doing these things. But that's not what Sikhi is about. Sikhi is about saying, irrespective of all of those things, where's your mind? And if your mind is on dhyan, on Simran, 24 hours a day, then it really doesn't matter what you externally do with your body. But you should be aware if there's something that you're doing which is still holding on to your ego. If you're tying your dadi because I quite like the way I look, yeah, and I'm unmarried and I still need to find a bride, that sort of stuff, then you're still holding on to this, okay, I'm still, living my own personal life, but I can do Simran on the side. No, you have to fully give yourself up. If you've fully given yourself up, close your dadi, keep it open, that doesn't make a difference.